Namaste, namaste, namaste. So I'd love to speak with you today about the sounds of Shiva. The sounds of Shiva are based on a very ancient and extremely profound and important Vedic text called the Maheshwara Sutra. The Maheshwara Sutra is one of the 6 foundations of the Vedic wisdom and knowledge, which is a precursor to all Indian spirituality, wisdom, knowledge, self-inquiry, and yoga, and its attendant arts and disciplines of sound, sacred sound, siksha, and everything connected to that. So I'd like to start at the beginning. And this is one big reason why I'm sharing this with you at this moment in time, 2018, on Earth. Because the Maheshwara Sutra, or the Sounds of Shiva, as I've called it for this time, the Maheshwara Sutra comes after the destruction of the old paradigm, the destruction of the old world. In India, this is known as a Tandav dance, or the dance of destruction and creation. And I'm sure many of you have seen this picture of Shiva with his many arms in an aureole of fire. And he's dancing on the body of a demon dwarf known as Apasmara. Now, Apasmara is the embodiment of ignorance or amnesia, how we have all forgotten the divine and the true source of life, and in fact, that source of life being within us and us being part of that. So this Tandav dance, this furious dance of destruction and creation, destroys the old and creates the new. Now, Shiva is often portrayed as holding a damaru in his hand. This damaru is a drum. And so from this drum comes forth creation. So Shiva dances a furious dance of Tandav, destroys the old creation, and then brings forth a new creation or a divine matrix that is the divine blueprint. And this divine blueprint is a dissolution of the old false matrix blueprint that is so prevalent in the world today. So the Maheshwara Sutra begins with this dance of destruction that Shiva does. After the dance, there is complete silence in the entire universe. Everything is dissolved. All the old emotions, all the old beliefs, all the old thought patterns, all the old ignorance, suffering, conflict, greed, anger, all of these matrix beliefs and emotions are dissolved. And when they are all dissolved, as many of you may have noticed in your own personal inner journey, when you have a big breakthrough or a big release, there is a silence that comes across your mind. You are cleansed, you are freed of something in your life, be it something emotional, something mental, a relationship or a job, something you didn't want or that didn't serve you. And in our healing journey, this happens quite a lot. And these are blessed moments when we enter that silence, when something has been released from us. And so it is with Lord Shiva. He dances a dance of creation, destruction for the entire universe. And afterwards there is complete silence as all the old matrix has been destroyed. And from this silence, Shiva brings out his drum his damaru. And on this drum, he beats out 14 pulses of sound, which contain the 42 letters, the seed letters or bijas of the Sanskrit alphabet. And in this drum, resonating the divine blueprint or matrix of perfectly ordered creation, Ritam in Sanskrit, the divine harmony, the divine order. As he beats out these sounds, it becomes created from the silence, from the void, from nothingness, from the destruction of the old. From that space comes forth the divine blueprint of the Maheshwara Sutras, or the Sounds of Shiva. So as we look at the world today and what is happening with the ignorance, with the destruction, with the pillaging of Mother Earth, with the greed that runs rampant throughout society and government and every single sector of our cultures, in every country and in every facet of the culture, we can start to see why the release of this wisdom again, the Maheshwara Sutras, has such a profound significance, not just symbolic, but actually very practical. And this is also what I'd like to share with you, the very practical revelation of Lord Shiva and his re-entrance in a huge way back into the world today. And that time is coming, my friends, and it's coming in a big way. And that will not be a little way. It will be a huge revelation, destruction, and a new creation. So returning back to the story of the Maheshwara Sutra, these 14 pulses of sound that echo and resonate across all creation, forming the new universe, the divine human blueprint, through the perfect holographic language of Sanskrit. Now, Sanskrit in this context has 42 bijas or seed letters. And the absolutely profound and perfect way that this forms creation is very eloquently described in the Maheshwara Sutras. Each letter, each sound has a perfect meaning in the unfolding of creation, this sonic and vibratory landscape that is creation. Creation is sound, creation is consciousness. This can be mapped, and this has been mapped by the sages of India as given by Lord Shiva. It's also very interesting in the Maheshwara Sutra who is present at this momentous and universally awe-inspiring occasion that Shiva is perhaps best known for, but very few people understand, because the Maheshwara Sutra has not been released out of India in any great depth or detail. It's been held in a Kashmiri Shaivite lineage, of which I am a member of, and which my ancestors for the last 400 years have been members of also. So I'm in a unique position to share this with you. Each letter, each sound in the Maheshwara Sutra describes creation. So the beginning starts with certain letters and sounds, which show the beginning of creation from the Big Bang, or the big drum, as it would be in the case of Lord Shiva. The drum sounds, bang, and out comes the first pulse of sound, or the first letters. And as the sutra progresses, each letter is given a perfect meaning, and this unfolds all of creation from the Big Bang down into our chakra system, down into our neuronal nets in our brain, how we comprehend and receive and transmit information, and then even deeper into the ways that our body moves, into our sexual energies, into the 5 different pranas that make up our body-mind system, into the 3 aspects of the brain. So ahamkar, manas, and buddhi, the ego, the bridge between the ego and the higher mind, or the buddhi being the awakened mind, as in buddha. So, and then it goes into the primal polarities, Purusha and Prakriti, the divine man and the divine woman, and so on, into how we actually grasp things on an intellectual level, called handling, how the mind handles concepts and information, and then even deeper into our sexual energy and our procreative energy, and into how we release those energies throughout our system, our nervous system, and our body. So this is actually very detailed and very profound. And the science behind this is quite amazing. The science that was originally seen by the seers of the Maheshwara Sutra include Patanjali, who of course the author of Raja Yoga and Ayurveda, and then Nandikeshvara, who was one of the main creators of South Indian dance and rhythm, and who was the teacher of Patanjali and Vasistha. Now, Vasistha was one of the main 7 sages of India, one of the most profound beings in Indian history, and who has initiated and created an extraordinary amount of wisdom that has become the basis of much of India's spiritual teachings even unto this day. So these are the beings who are present at the revelation of the Maheshwara Sutra. And the Rishi Nandikeshvara, who was the guru of Patanjali and Vasistha, was the main scribe of this sutra. So there's some very profound, fully enlightened beings who saw into the nature of creation, who were present when the Maheshwara Sutra was revealed, when Lord Shiva banged out his drum and created the universe through sound. In all traditions, this is the most precise and scientific evaluation and explanation of how sound creates the universe and creates us. As I was saying, all the sounds for the chakras are enumerated in the sutra, and then the chakras are broken down even further in even more explicit detail into how we grasp and handle things on an intellectual level, jabhan, how the senses are created, gadadash, and so on. So there's a whole unfolding of sound and a precise enumeration of how sound creates our bodies, our nervous systems, our souls, the planets, the solar system, the galaxy, creation itself in its polarity nature, masculine and feminine, and the polarity that can then fragment into duality in our own fragmented understanding of the nature of consciousness. And then the sutra ends with the actual release of all of creation back into the void, which is actually what quantum physics has proved in the last 20 years. We are essentially empty space. At the heart of all of our cells is empty space. At the heart of the atom there is a black hole. There is nothing. So in the sutra, it reveals and explicates all of creation through sound, through letters, which you can sound, which you can chant. And then, when you have created everything, it all completely dissolves back into the void from whence it came. So the whole sutra shows a complete and perfect, a total hologram of creation. And this is revealed in a very precise, systematic manner. And in a way that frequency works, it works as it steps down from the highest frequencies, which are beyond the reach of most humans, into frequencies that we can then absorb, digest, assimilate, and understand and work with. And the sutra is all composed like that, or given to us like that, so that we can understand what actually we are made of and the different functions within ourselves. So the 5 pranas have particular sounds to them and particular mudras to them. And there's mantras connected to that. But there's seed syllables for prana, for example. And then there's other syllables for the digestive fire. And there's other syllables for the prana, or the energy that's in our auric field. All of this is given in the Maheshwara Sutra, because that is what forms our body. That's what creates our body, mind, soul system. And so this blueprint of the Maheshwara Sutras, as given by Lord Shiva, actually shows how we are made, not just how we are created and how the universe is created, how actually we are made, what makes us up, what are we composed of. If we know that, then of course we can access it. We access it, we can fully embody it. And this is the most interesting part for me, for the sutra, is the full embodying of that divine blueprint, becoming Shiva, becoming that sound of creation, or those sounds of creation, and fully embodying that. If we look at this in a slightly different perception, then we find that as sound creates consciousness, and consciousness is sound, then we start to understand that by tapping into different frequencies, we tap into different parts of ourself, and of course different parts of the universal consciousness that we are, and that is the universe. So in this perception, thoughts are created by language. And this is one of the main problems of artificial intelligence and virtual reality, which are trying to take off again, because this has been here on Earth before. This is trying to take off again on Earth. How to use artificial intelligence. Big debate. VR, headsets, Oculus, Facebook, Google. How to create virtual realities and augmented realities. The main problem with this on Earth so far has been that scientists have not been able to understand how thought operates. Thought operates on language. If you understand the grammar of language and you can break it down, then you can understand or begin to apply that understanding into what thought actually is and how we can manipulate it, change it, grow it, evolve it, dissolve it, recreate it anew. And this is perhaps one of the most profound implications of the Maheshwara Sutra, is this application to VR and artificial intelligence. The grammar that Panini, who was a founder of Sanskrit grammar and who codified the Maheshwara Sutra, the perfect grammar of Sanskrit, because it is a holographic language, can be used to create artificially intelligent programs, let's say. And if we look at it another way, we as humans are actually AI. We are part of a hologram. And we have intelligence. And some people actually have real intelligence, not an attenuated or encultured intelligence. And what I mean by that is that which we have learned or taken on from our parents or from society or culture or our peers or our teachers. True intelligence is beyond that. So AI, as it is struggling to be birthed today, has this one major problem. Scientists cannot replicate consciousness. They don't know how to yet, probably because they're not so conscious. So they're not looking at it in a certain way. They're looking at it in a more linear manner. The holographic nature of the universe, reality, and Sanskrit means that we look at things multidimensionally and spatially. We start off spatial, then we become multidimensional, then we can understand and access and create the hologram. Now, many masters have understood this. Padma and Babaji, many of the Eastern masters have learned how to use and create holograms. The Egyptian masters, gods and goddesses, Thoth and others have also known how to use holograms and how to encode information within a hologram. Sanskrit itself holds a holographic understanding, as do other sacred languages like Aramaic and Hebrew. So all of that information is held in the language itself. And when you do mantras or chanting, you can start to feel or experience that as you alter your state of consciousness. However, there is much deeper understanding or use of sound and vibration in that way. So artificial intelligence depends on how we understand consciousness. To understand how to program artificially intelligent beings or programs, we need to use the right programming language. And the right programming language needs the right grammar. And the right grammar itself needs an understanding of how thought creates language, how language is based on thought. And once we can decode how thought actually works, or the building blocks of that, then there will be a huge, let's say, acceleration in how we can manipulate reality, which is all that AR, VR, movies, entertainment, culture is all about the manipulation of reality for a certain agenda. If that agenda is the expansion of consciousness into universal consciousness, and we have the right software programming language, or a holographic language to do that, then something very beneficial and benevolent can happen. So Sanskrit, in this sense, is a profound programming language that is not even really well understood by even Sanskrit scholars, because they're looking at it in a certain way. We look at it in a more expanded way, which is what the Maheshwara Sutra, the Sounds of Shiva, gives us in a very explicit way. Then we can understand that we are consciousness, and we can create with that. We don't just sit in the state of I am consciousness and meditate with it. We can actually create a whole new reality with it. And this is a gift of the Sounds of Shiva, the ability to create a new reality based on a divine blueprint, the divine matrix of perfectly ordered creation. Ritam in Sanskrit, Pono in Hawaiian, Ma'at in Egyptian. Order, truth, justice, universal harmony, universal law. All of which is based on vibration, which is sound. And the Maheshwara Sutra explicates this in a perfectly ordered way. So that is what is available for us today. And I felt to share that with you all, because this year and further on, there are some big choices that humanity will have to make, you and I will have to make, and on a larger level, the governments and institutions that run the organizations of this world will also have to make. And some of those will be extremely destructive, and some of them will not be. So we have a choice. And if we use our intelligence, we can actually create or bring ourselves into the innate divine blueprint that is held within every single cell of our body, mind, souls. So the Maheshwara Sutra, the Sounds of Shiva, paints this sonic picture of creation. And it allows us to tap into the innate vibratory resonance and essence of what is true, right, and good, and what will lead us into that toroidal spiral of perfectly ordered creation. I've written a book about this, which I've not been allowed to share as of now. And there's also a profound multimedia immersive exhibition based on the holographic nature of sound and cymatics, which is connected to the Sounds of Shiva, which can give people a direct experience of the Maheshwara Sutras and the Sounds of Shiva. That is being created as we speak, but funding is required to create the whole immersive experience. And that will be a very profound experience for an individual to have, to be downloaded, so to speak, with the Sanskrit sounds and the cymatic geometries of each sound, and to receive them both at the same time into your consciousness will actually shift and alter your consciousness into a more natural and inspired harmony that is essential to all human beings. And Sanskrit is a universal language. It's not just to do with India. It's actually the basis of many other of the Indo-European languages, and this has been proved in many academic and scholarly publications that Sanskrit is a root of Latin. Of course, Latin being the root of English and all the Indo-European language sets. So actually how you think in those languages comes from Sanskrit. So as a German person thinking in German, that will go back to Sanskrit. English person speaking, talking in English, that will go back to Sanskrit. That is a root of it. And if you want to resolve or heal anything, you have to go to the cause of it. English is an effect language, as is most of the other languages at the moment on Earth. If you want to really understand the nature of sound, you'll have to go to the sacred languages. And if you really want to understand the nature of thought and programming, either software in AI or VR, you'll have to go back to the cause of them as well. So I just wish to share that with you today, as I felt very drawn and called to. And I wish you all a divinely ordered and beautiful day. Namaste. Namaste.